Well, 2020 started with a bang, literally. In January, the United States military killed Iranian general and terrorist Qasem Soleimani. Things got tense, and many thought the U.S. was headed into a major conflict when Iran fired missiles at a U.S. military base in Iraq.
As long as I'm president of the United States, Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning. I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful and happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime.
Also in January, who can forget the Democrats walking the impeachment articles against President Trump through the Capitol? At the end of the month, the world was shocked when news broke early Sunday morning on January 26 that NBA superstar Kobe Bryant, along with his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 other people were killed in a helicopter crash in Southern California. In international news, the United Kingdom officially left the EU on January 31st, making BREXIT official.
Done before the greatest moment in the modern history of our great nation. Thank you!
As February began, President Trump delivered the State of the Union address against a backdrop of a recent impeachment and acquittal. The message, though, wasn't received well by Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi.
She did.
Wait.
Sure did.
In February, we began to learn more about a mysterious illness based out of Wuhan, China. COVID-19, or coronavirus as is more commonly known, would go on to impact our world and our lives in a way that no one could imagine. Over the following months, the United States, along with many other countries across the world, went into lockdown, hoping to slow the spread. The impact on healthcare systems and the economy were immediate. On March 12th, the stock exchange experienced its worst day since 1987. In the days, weeks, and months that followed, unemployment numbers hit double digits, with many individuals unable to work because of the virus. Healthcare systems and hospitals bore the hardest toll, though, particularly in places like New York City and New Jersey, where a U.S. Navy hospital ship was dispatched to provide assistance as the virus ravaged the city. Over the next several months, President Trump, often accompanied by Dr. Deborah Birx and Dr. Anthony Fauci, provided updates on an almost daily basis to the American people. In May, protests and riots erupted in major cities across the United States after George Floyd died while in police custody. Floyd's death would go on to spawn a national movement called Black Lives Matter, or BLM. BLM would continue to hold marches and protests across the country for months, some of which were peaceful, some of which were not. The organization's leaders said the marches were an effort to secure equal rights for Black Americans and prevent more police shootings. BLM resonated with many Americans who for a period of time took to the streets in solidarity, but also changed their social media profile pictures to blank black squares. But there were many Americans who saw BLM as a movement against the police and law and order itself. As the months dragged on, the country became more and more divided over the issue of race. Of course, while the pandemic was going on, so too was the 2020 presidential election. After many bruising months of debates, Joe Biden became the Democratic presidential nominee.
Well, thank you very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all. It means the world to me and my family, and I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Over the summer, many Americans let down their guard as the virus began to recede in some areas of the country. Despite the death toll being in the hundreds of thousands, businesses and life in general began to try to return to some semblance of normal. Words like social distancing became commonplace, and health officials advised all Americans to wear masks, despite having told the public to do just the opposite months earlier. In August, the Democrats and Republicans hosted their national conventions, with each side articulating their different visions for the future of our country.
Along with the experience needed to get things done, Joe and Kamala have concrete policies that will turn their vision of a better, fairer, stronger country into reality. They will get this pandemic under control.
Our family went from cotton
to Congress in one lifetime. And that's why I believe the next American century can be better than the last. And I'm here tonight to tell you that supporting the Republican ticket gives you the best chance of making that dream a reality.
In September, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away at the age of 87. Ginsburg was seen by many as a groundbreaking feminist icon whose appointment to the Supreme Court inspired many young women to never give up on their goals and dreams. During October, politics and the coronavirus began to heat up when President Trump tested positive for COVID and was flown to Walter Reed Medical Center for treatment and evaluation. The president didn't stay in the hospital for long, though, crediting Regeneron and his excellent medical care for the quick recovery. October also saw the first of two presidential debates between President Trump and Vice President Biden. To say that the first debate didn't go well would be an understatement.
He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot.
Plan to replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of
comprehensive plan.
In the second debate, both candidates were a bit more cordial, but perhaps that had to do with the threat of their mics being turned off if they got out of hand. It was around this time that the country also learned of a successful COVID vaccine being developed by Pfizer and Moderna. The president promised a, quote, vaccination by the end of this year. The final two news events of the year were the presidential election, which has just officially resulted in a President-elect Biden, though President Trump disputes that, and the great news that COVID vaccinations are going into shoulders around the country and the world. What will 2021 bring? We're not sure, but whatever happens, we'll be there to bring you the news from all sides, presented fairly and without bias. We'll see you in 2021. Have a great Christmas and New Year.